Welcome to the Drew Yari Show.
Guys, it's Wednesday, February the 24th, 2021. It's it's no longer a blizzard outside here in San Antonio. It's nice crisp. Last I checked, it was 72-degree weather. It's 66 degrees, so not too bad outside. But welcome back to the show. I took last week off, probably because of the weather. Because if anyone doesn't know, Texas. What's up, the Cal? Texas was hit with snowstorms all last week, dating back to Valentine's Day. And it's weird because Valentine's Day I did the takeover show with Jeff Littman, and right when I was in the middle of recording, I think we were like towards the end. My girl walks in, and she's telling me it was snowing because I heard it was going to snow. I heard it. And usually with San Antonio is we've had snow before, but it's nothing. It pales in comparison to like snow in the Midwest or snow in like New York, anywhere in the East. This time it actually snowed. Like it was actually a blizzard outside. And it went on for about 2 days, and then it died down a little bit. Then it snowed again on Wednesday. Actually, not Wednesday, on Thursday. So I just decided to take that Wednesday off, because I was hearing about rolling blackouts with a lot of people, and just to play it safe, I decided to take the week off. I mean, it was pretty bad. Texas, we're not used to this kind of weather, and not to trash my own state, but we were just ill prepared for it. And I mean, you can't really blame us because again, we're not used to this weather. We're used to really hot-ass weather, really hot-ass summers, which we can prepare for those. Or, your run-of-the-mill, cold weather. So, things started to get better over the weekend. And now we're back to just, decent, breezy weather. Whatever you want to call it. But had to be back. So, interesting week. Was able to finally watch Elimination Chamber yesterday, which we can just jump into that. So, and then I'll do questions. I had some people ask questions on Twitter. If anyone here wants to put in some questions, you're more than welcome to. But Elimination Chamber was this Sunday. Let's see. You had the pre-show, which I didn't watch, but having audio issues on my end, I shall return. Well, I mean, you can, Cal, just go on my Spreaker page and you can just listen to it from there. So, but yeah, pre-show match. You had a Fatal 4-Way match. The winner ends up joining the United States Championship triple threat, replacing Keith Lee. It was John Morrison, Elias, Mustafa Ali, and Ricochet. Keith Lee was already advertised for the match, but he was pulled out due to injury, which sucks for Keith Lee. I mean, I hate to say it, but I don't know if his style might be catching up to him. Because I've always said about Keith Lee, it's just, he's a big guy, but he's out there trying to do these cruiserweight spots. He's trying to do these dives, out of the ring. He's trying to do these moonsaults out of the ring. It's like, yeah, it's impressive, but it's just like, dude, you're a big guy, and you're no spring chicken. You're gonna be 40 pretty soon. You need to take it slow. So, I mean, I'm pulling for Keith Lee. I hope he's okay. I hope he comes back, and I hope he's better than ever. But so I didn't see the pre-show match, but John Morrison won, which good decision because I like John Morrison. Anything that involves John Morrison getting more time to wrestle and actually look like John Morrison, I'm fine with. I think it was kind of weird that Elias was in this match because he hasn't really done anything. he's kind of been like sucks about Elias because this is a guy who a while ago he was over. Like you thought this guy was going to be the guy, or maybe not the guy, but he was going to be something. And just injuries. It's just that's the tail of the tape is just injuries, and it sucks. So he's just there. He basically him and Braun are in a league of their own as far as like guys who were over and they should have just the company should have pulled the trigger when they could have, but just so many things played a role in devaluing their push. But John Morrison won, which is good. Like I said, I didn't watch the match. But let's get into the main card. You got the Elimination Chamber match for to see who would face Roman Reigns for the Universal Championship. Yeah, Daniel Bryan, Cesaro, Jey Uso, Kevin Owens, King Corbin, and Sami Zayn. In my opinion, the best Elimination Chamber match I've seen in a long time. Probably, dare I say, the best Elimination Chamber match I've ever seen. Granted, you have the talent there. I mean, you can always have the talent there, but it won't always work out. In this case, I was dead wrong. You know, even Corbin, the two-time Yari winner for Worst Male Wrestler of the Year, even Corbin was bearable in this match, and he played his role, which was just be a heel, go in there and beat the shit out of the other two guys. But overall, this match was amazing. I might even just watch it again. That's how great it was. This match was so good. Even Jim Cornette liked it. And Jim Cornette doesn't like anything. He usually will find a way to critique anything that's modern wrestling related. But he even liked this match. And that's insane. So, to me, the star of the match was Cesaro, hands down. I dare you. I dare you to even find somebody else who looked like a star next to Cesaro. Daniel Bryan, okay, I'll even say Daniel Bryan was the second star of the match, but Cesaro, this was the Cesaro show. This was the Cesaro show. He just looked like an absolute fucking beast. When he's on top of the chamber and he's just doing pull-ups, I'm like, how does this company not want to put this guy over? I mean, they did kind of put him over in this match, and I was listening to the Soup when they had Kevin Castle on the show review the show, and Kevin Castle made a comment that the fact that he signed back Cesaro, they signed back with the company, this was probably a way to reward him for being a loyal employee. Hopefully they do something with him. I really hope they do. Just give him a big match, give him a big program. Do something with him because this guy is a beast. This guy looks like a beast. This guy looks like an action movie star. I don't know why. After seeing that performance, how could you not want to do something with Cesaro? How could the company not want to do anything with Cesaro? I honestly will be like very upset if they don't. But let's see. Yeah, Daniel Bryan, of course, looking like a star. What's up, Sasha Baron Corbin? Daniel Bryan and Cesaro start off the match, just of course, as you should. Sami Zayn, I think, was the second highlight of the match. He was just funny, and it wasn't like forced humor, like forced AEW bad SNL skit humor. It was more like it was not generic, organic. It was organic because Sami Zayn just has that look of somebody that is kind of like a weasel, that is just kind of like this very kind of like rat, this kind of like this rat piece of shit. It's just rat fuck that you just want to beat the hell out of him. You just want to punch him in his face. And he's not bad on the mic. He's good on the mic and he's good in the ring. So I'm loving what I'm seeing from Sami Zayn. I liked when he's coming in the chamber next, but he ends up shutting his door because he doesn't want to come out. And then Cesaro's just right behind him and just starts beating the shit out. That was amazing. And Probably my favorite part was when Kevin Owens is coming out, and then Sami Zayn goes up to Kevin Owens and says, "Hey man, we're best buds. We go way back. Let's show these guys what we're made of. They don't want us here. They don't like us. Let's you and me like old times. Come on." And then Kevin Owens just smiles and goes, "Okay." And then he grabs Sami Zayn. You hear Sami Zayn go, "Oh!" and throws him right in the chamber. Not the chamber door, but one of the pods. That was good stuff. Kevin Owens looking great in this match. Let's see who was after that. Let's see. Jey Uso, I believe, was like the last person to come out. He comes in and just looks dominant. Looks pretty good. He has an interesting part with Owens where he actually traps his arm. Between or not trap it, but he takes the chamber door and like starts slamming on his arm and just keeps it there. And he's telling the ref, don't you pull that shit. Don't you pull that shit. Which I like. I like Jey Uso. I like what I see from. I like the savage Jey Uso because I like the fact that he's the whole time he's waiting in his pod. He's just sitting down. He's just sitting down. He's not standing up talking shit. When someone comes up to him and starts talking shit, he'll talk shit. But he's just sitting down. He looks like he's just ready to beat the shit out of anyone, which I love. I love that. So he ends up taking out Kevin Owens. Let's see. Baron Corbin got taken out earlier, which was good. Hey, Sasha Baron Corbin, you missed it. I actually said something nice about Baron Corbin. Actually gave a compliment to Baron Corbin. I said he was actually bearable in this match. I didn't mind him at all. So, Owens took out Zayn, and it ended up coming down to Cesaro and Cesaro and Daniel Bryan, and Jey Uso was there too. So Cesaro going for his move, and then Jey Uso super kicks Cesaro, goes for a splash and pins Cesaro. So Cesaro's out, which actually, again, that surprised me because I really wanted Cesaro to win this match. Yeah, Cal. Like everybody worked in this match. Everybody was fine in this match. I was fine with it. I was fine with Corbin for the first time in like ages, and since the history of his existence, I was fine with Corbin. But yeah. So Jay tries to go for another splash, pins Bryan, and then Bryan kicks out, and then Jay tries to go off one of the pods. Bryan puts his knee up, and then puts him in a yes lock. I'm sorry, yes lock. Uso taps out, so Bryan wins the match. Great match. Again, great match from top to bottom. I can't really say anything bad about it. The only critique is that I wish Daniel Bryan was the right man to win. You will never catch me saying a bad word about Daniel Bryan ever. You will never catch me saying a bad word about Daniel Bryan. It's just one of those things of like, yeah, but Cesaro I think looked more like a star out there, in my opinion. But whatever. Either way, I love Daniel Bryan. Fine with it. I don't hate it. I don't hate that he won. This is probably the only thing I hated, which in my opinion I think kind of diminished the match, was when they said, the winner of this will get a title shot, tonight. I just thought, okay, so what they're going to do is whoever wins, they'll get a title shot later in the night, like maybe the second to last match. So the winner has about an hour or less to heal up so he could, face the champ. Actually, come to think of it, I wouldn't have been opposed if it was the main event. Just my opinion. But Roman Reigns comes out immediately and begins the match. And Daniel Bryan goes for a yes lock. Roman gets out and just starts beating the shit out of Daniel Bryan and goes for his guillotine, and Daniel Bryan's out. And Edge comes out, spears Roman, and then points out the sign, so thus confirming that it will be Edge and Roman at Mania for the Universal title. So in my opinion, I think that kind of diminished the match because it would have been a lot better if Daniel Bryan, Daniel did win, but after Daniel Bryan winning, again, give him an hour to cool off, to rest up, but he's not 100%. I mean, granted, even if Daniel Bryan was 100%, he couldn't beat Roman. But you have that story to tell of Daniel Bryan. He's the underdog. He's not 100%, but he's going to keep fighting back. He's going to keep fighting back. He's going to keep fighting back. And that's how you tell a good story. And I think if that were to happen, those two really could have went out there and had a great match. But they just made it a squash, and I didn't like it. I just didn't like that. To me, I think it kind of diminished the Elimination Chamber match. It made it, in some ways, a little meaningless. Edge coming out. Okay, I like Edge. I don't like the fact that he spears Roman, and Roman acts like he just got ran over by a truck. Because you look at Roman spearing somebody, okay, that's going to hurt. Because he's not a big guy, but he's big. He's basically college football big. Edge looks like somebody's dad. He looks like he just dropped his kids off at at band practice. I don't know, but he spears Roman, and Roman has to sell like he just got hit by a truck. So I don't know, but is it weird that I'm not really looking forward to this match? I mean, I know I said, Roman and Edge would be the better match, but the best way they can book this match is if they book Edge to look like the underdog. That's just how I feel. Edge has to be the underdog in this match. He can't be the dominant guy because, let's just be real, Edge was out for 9 years. He was out for 8.5 years, pretty much, with a bad neck. Comes back, wrestles again, and then he tears his arm. He tears like his shoulder or something, and he's out for 8 months, 7-8 months, give or take. Comes back, wins the Rumble. So I don't know. Like, I don't want this to be a squash. I know Vince Russo said that it needs to be a squash. I disagree. I don't have a problem with them going out there and having a good match, but you need to book this like Edge is the underdog and not on the same level as Roman. Because let's just be real. Again, like Edge, I wouldn't put him in my Mount Rushmore of greatest wrestlers of all time. I wouldn't even put him in my top 10. Not even my top 15. But Edge he's a star. And when I say star, I mean he's a star, but he's not a star, if you know where I'm going. Like, he's not The Rock. If this was The Rock and Roman, it would look legit. If this were Triple H and Roman, it would look legit. But the best way you need to book this is that Edge needs to be the underdog. And the match needs to be at least under 10 minutes, in my opinion. That's just me. But what's going on, Michael Corvin? What's going on, Kyle? What's going on, Kyle, man? How you doing, man? You have a couple good people coming into this chat room, but that's just how I felt about it. That's just my 2 cents. I don't know what you guys feel about it. Let me know in the chat. Who's this Corvin guy? Michael Smith. I'm very sorry, dude. Michael Smith. CM fucking goof. Very sorry about that. Forgive me. Are we good? Okay, good. So we move on to the Triple Threat United States Championship match. Matt Riddle. I absolve you of all your sins. Okay, good. I was worried there. I was legit worried there for a second. I don't like offending people. I don't want to call people by the wrong name. I'm being for real about it. When I call people by the wrong name, I feel like I've disrespected them. So very sorry if you felt disrespected. So yeah, United States Championship match. Riddle, Bobby Lashley, the United States Champion with MVP and John Morrison. I guess this was an okay match. I mean, the best thing out of it was that we now know that Bobby Lashley is going to be pushed like a fucking star. Like, he looked legit as fuck. I love how they've been pushing Bobby Lashley. I don't know why it's been taking them this long to push him. But I'm glad they're doing it. And he looked great out there. MVP, jaw jacking. I wish MVP would have done a lot more in this match. In my opinion, I wish there was a lot more interference. I wish he would have came in with his cane, or not his cane, but his crutch, and started swinging it around and hitting people with it or getting involved. Because it's a triple threat match and it's no disqualification. So I don't know why he didn't get involved more. Well, yeah, I know he's injured, but I wish he could have just if somebody's for example, if somebody's standing against the rope and he's right there, he could have just taken his crutch out and just hit him in the back with it. That's what I meant. Or grab somebody's leg when they're running. Just simple shit like that. But the only time he got involved was John Morrison and him are talking shit, and John Morrison tells him to shut the hell up, and then grabs his crutch, and the MVP goes, "Whoa, dude, chill, we're good." But what's it call it? I just had a brain fart for a second. Oh yeah, Lashley gets Morrison in the Hurt Locker, and then Riddle grabs the crutch and hits Bobby Lashley in the back with it, and then ends up pinning John Morrison 1, 2, 3. It's weird how we've done a complete 180 on Riddle, because about a year and a half ago, at least, this guy, we were like, okay, this guy's going to be a top guy. He's going to be something. He has a good personality. He can work. But I guess so many things, either personally or professionally, just got in his way. Just, I mean, the whole thing with Candy Cartwright, whatever her name is, which that ended up being bullshit. And just him constantly going on social media and calling everyone out and talking shit to Brock Lesnar, Goldberg. And then but Brock Lesnar literally telling him, "Hey, you and me are never going to work." I don't think that helps. That really doesn't help. It's just I'm fine with them taking the title off of Lashley. Not weird for me. I can't do it again. It's personally, we hate assholes like him. Yeah. All right, that makes sense. Fair enough. But either way, they had to get the title off of Lashley because he's going to go on to bigger and better things. We'll get into that in a bit. Personally, I think it would have made a lot more sense to put it on Morrison, especially with what was going to happen later in the night. So that way, Morrison can be champion and, Miz can be champion. And they can both be champions and, go do their own things. But at the same time, they're still best friends as champions. But, Riddle being champion, I mean, I guess. Kyle saying, I still don't like Riddle. He's like the new, more talented Santino. I don't know if I'd call him Santino. I would maybe call him RVD, but not as talented or charismatic. Because it's weird because RVD never got pushed as a serious guy. RVD was pushed as the surfer dude. No, Cal. Don't get me. Listen to me. I'm not not ragging on RVD. I got a point here. But RVD, they never tried to push him as a serious guy because he didn't want to be pushed like a serious guy. He was pushed as, the surfer dude, but he could do karate and, he can go out there and do a 5-star frog splash. But with Riddle, they're trying to push him as serious, but he's not really serious. He kind of comes off as an idiot. No, he's doing the whole, hey, bro, you want some bro nuts? Huh, get it? Bro nuts? What about some ice cream? Ice cream's pretty cool, bro. Well, instead of ice cream, let's call it bro cream. Get it? It's like, ugh. Yeah, he seems like that guy you just want to openly slap across the face. Like I don't like him. I just want to punch him in his fucking face. I realize. I've come to a realization that I don't like Matt Riddle anymore. I kind of think he's a fucking chode. Oh my god. One of us. Gooble gobble, gooble gobble. But yeah, Matt Riddle's a new champion. Again, made sense because you need to get the title off of Lashley. But next match, you had Nia Jax and Shayna Basler, the women's tag team champions, versus Bianca Belair and Sasha Banks. You want to know what I did in this match? Can anyone guess what I did in this match? I skipped it. I didn't take a piss break. I just skipped it altogether. And you know, again, I love Bianca Belair. I'm not a big fan of Sasha at all. Not really a big fan of Sasha. Never have been. Love Shayna. I hate what they're doing with her. And yeah, Nia Jax is just fucking like, ugh. Just why has this bitch not been sent down to training or been fired at least? Yeah, skip the match. Didn't care for it. Didn't even hear good things about it. But yeah, just I skipped it. Skip. But that's it. That's all. That's what I did. I skipped it. Next, Sasha is the best. Sasha's number one in my heart. Anyways, why don't you return my call, Sasha? Ugh. Sounds like a. That sounds pretty intense, Mike. But anyways, let's go into the main event. Well, technically, I guess the second to last match, but I know it was a joke. I'm just playing with you, Mike. But let's go to the main event. Yeah, the Elimination Chamber for the WWE Raw Championship. Drew McIntyre, AJ Styles with Omos, Jeff Hardy, Kofi Kingston, Randy Orton, Sheamus. Definitely not as good as the first Elimination Chamber match. Really not. I mean, it was hard to compete, especially with the crop of talent in that match. I mean, this match had talent, but not as good. Let's see. Who started off the match? Oh yeah, Jeff Hardy and Randy Orton started off the match, and Randy Orton actually got out of the match like rather quick, which I thought was pretty interesting. Which was good, because Randy Orton usually seems to kind of slow down the pace of things. He was eliminated by Kofi, which I thought was pretty interesting. There's a point in the match where AJ Styles is, telling Omos to rip off the door and get him out of there, so he can get in the match quicker. So he gets in, and then Adam Pearce is yelling at Omos and telling him to get out. Orton should be nicknamed the Sloth. Yeah, exactly. There's perfect CM. He's the Sloth, not even the Viper, because Vipers move quicker. He's the Sloth, and yeah, Omos gets thrown out. AJ, let's see. Jeff Hardy has some good offense in. Jeff Hardy goes for a swanton on who was it? Sheamus? Was it Sheamus? Was it Sheamus or AJ? Oh man, I'm going blank. Oh yeah, it was on it was on AJ. AJ? Was it AJ? It was AJ, and then Sheamus eliminated him. So Sheamus and Drew McIntyre and Drew can have their own little thing going on. Offense in. It looks like he's going to take out Drew. Yeah, I know. I'm just trying to buy. I believe it was Shane. So it comes down to Drew and AJ, saying you couldn't get the job done, throws him out. ring. Or not the ring. So I was just kind of sorry. Thank you, Sia. Jeff was listening about Drew. AJ goes for the phenomenal forearm, and then Drew counters that into a Claymore, which I thought was actually pretty cool. Drew pins AJ, and Drew is still the WWE champion. The the whole match I didn't think was terrible. I just wasn't as good as the first one. That's the best way I can put it. It's kind of underwhelming. I don't know. I can't really put my finger on why I didn't like it as much as I thought. Why I didn't like it as much as the SmackDown one. I don't know. Maybe just the pacing was better in the SmackDown one. Maybe it's just the talent. I'm just gonna go with that. I think it was just the talent that was a lot better in the first one. The talent here was good, but it wasn't as great. Not enough to carry this match. But yeah, the Chamber ends up getting brought up. And Bobby Lashley, why would Drew break up the pin on AJ by Jeff Hardy after Hardy hit the Swanton? Wouldn't it have made more sense to have Hardy eliminate AJ than Drew eliminates her? You know what? You're right. Because, I was actually thinking about that because it's now starting to come together. So, Hardy goes for a Swanton on AJ. And not Drew. Hardy goes for a Swanton on AJ. Hardy turns around and Drew claymores him. So I'm just like, in reality, it's like, why would you claymore him? Why not just let Hardy pin him and get rid of AJ? So that way you can just take care of Hardy afterwards. Like let whoever pin whoever. It's like these are no rules. It doesn't affect you if the other guy gets eliminated. No, that was just odd. It was kind of odd. But yeah, the cage ends up being brought up, and then Bobby Lashley comes out and proceeds to beat the living piss out of Drew McIntyre, which looked pretty good, by the way. The Miz comes out and cashes in his Money in the Bank. He goes for a DDT, and McIntyre kicks out, and then he goes for a skull crushing finale, and pins him. Miz is now the WWE champion. They put out a fact saying that he's the first, or I don't know if he's the first ever, but he's a 2-time Grand Slam winner. So he hasn't been WWE champion since 2011. So pretty interesting. So Miz is now the WWE champion. I was pretty surprised because I didn't get to watch it when it was live because I was working. I made the mistake of going on social media and seeing people talk about it. I'm like, wait, what? And it made sense I guess it made sense now why they took Miz out of the Elimination Chamber because they had a plan all along. So it's interesting. It's interesting. You needed to get the title off of Drew. I've been a Drew supporter for a while, but I've come to that realization of like he's just not that guy. He's just not that guy. I don't know if it's just because of the way they're booking him because the company has done him no favors on how they booked him. You look at Roman, they give him Paul Heyman, he goes out there looking like a beast. You give him his own crew with Jey Uso, and pretty soon Jimmy Uso is going to come back. What exactly do you give Drew McIntyre? They haven't really given him anything. I mean, they gave him the title, but what else have they given him? To me, you haven't been the champion for, 6 months? Loses it to Orton, and the very next night on Raw. Okay, so let me just kind of paint the picture. Let me kind of paint this scenario for you guys. say you just got your ass beat the night before and you lost something precious, that you thought was very precious and valuable. And let's just say it was the WWE Championship. Let's a championship. The very next night on Raw, let's say it was Stone Cold Steve Austin. He just lost the title. What do you think Steve Austin is going to say when he's being interviewed? If someone's asking Steve Austin, how do you feel about losing the title last night? What do you think Steve Austin's going to say on the mic? He's going to say, well, God damn it. I lost my damn title last night. What I'm going to do is I'm going to walk right into Survivor Series. I'm going to open up a can of beer. I'm going to have another beer. I'm going to whoop Brett Orton's ass. And that's the bottom line. That was my impression, by the way. But that's what Steve Austin's going to say. What did Drew McIntyre say the very next night on Raw? Oh, it's okay. I'll get my title back. Don't worry about it. It's fine. It's like, dude, can you at least pretend to sound passionate? It's like, come on. Like, you just lost your fucking title that you beat Brock Lesnar for in what is it, 4 minutes? And you're acting like it just it's fine, I'll get it back. I really don't I don't know, but just the Drew experiment failed. I'm just just calling a spade. The experiment with Drew as your main event guy failed. So, and now you got Bobby Lashley, which good. You've been booking Bobby Lashley like a beast. The Hurt Business has been booked a lot more dominant than any other faction that's out right now. And I've sang their praises. I've sang the praises of the Hurt Business. I like MVP as the mouthpiece. I don't want to ever see him wrestle. I just want to see him be the manager. Anything that involves Shelton Benjamin getting TV time, I'm down for it. I mean, if they made Cedric Alexander look interesting, I'm fine with the Hurt Business. I'm fine with Bobby Lashley on top and being a main eventer, because having a mid-card title was really hindering him rather than helping him. So he needs to be in the main event. He needs to get a world title shot. And as far as where WrestleMania goes, the way it looks is I think it's kind of up in the air, because you look everywhere else, you can kind of gaze what matches are going to be on Mania. Because Roman and Edge is more than likely going to be the main event. Bad Bunny and Damian Priest are going to be involved somehow. Anyone else, rumor is that the NXT title is going to be defended at Mania, which I'd be pretty stoked for. And then the women's title match, it's going to be Sasha and Bianca. WWE title match, you're not sure what it's going to be. You're not sure if it's going to be, Drew and Lashley, or Lashley or Drew and Miz, or Lashley, Drew, and Miz, possibly adding a fourth guy in there. So I don't know. I really don't know, and I'm glad I don't know. I want to be surprised. But I'm looking forward to Mania. I'm looking forward to what they do with this match. All I know is that Bobby Lashley is a fucking beast, and he better get a fucking title. They better put the world title on that man. He is looking better than I've seen him in years. Better than when he debuted on the main roster in 2005. Better than when he came back. And I know a lot of people were telling me, he looked dominant in TNA. I didn't watch his TNA stuff, so I can't really go off of his TNA stuff. But everyone's telling me that he looked a lot more dominant in TNA. So I'll take people's words for it. Drew's gonna, yeah, I think so. Yeah, the main event kind of smells of fuckery, because they kept Drew off the show on Monday, and I think they had a good reason for it. They wanted to sell the fact that he got his ass beat, and also they want to wait for the right moment to bring him back. So I think Lashley and Miz is going to be a short match next week, and right when, or you know what? maybe this will happen. Lashley will come out, and before the match even starts, Drew McIntyre's going to come out and beat the shit out of him. So it won't end in disqualification or anything like that. It'll just end in, the match hasn't even started, pretty much. So, and that could possibly set up Fastlane. You can make that a triple threat. You can add Drew in the mix. So, and, also Fastlane's going to be the new pay-per-view of, the Peacock era. So, you got that going for you. So that was Elimination Chamber. Overall, I thought it was a good show. I'll give it a B+. Solely based on the fact that the first Elimination Chamber match was great. And also B, it ended early. It was, 2.5 hours? I don't even think it was 2.5 hours. I think it was a lot shorter than that. There was just 4 matches. So there you go. So let's go to what are we talking about? The corner WWE Network on Peacock. If anyone has WWE Network currently, supposedly right when the move happens, you'll be automatically integrated to the Peacock, and you'll just be paying $5. You can upgrade it to $9.99, like before, if you don't want any ads. The $5 would just be with ads, and while you have WWE Network, you can also gain access to the library of Peacock. You can watch movies, TV shows. I think that's what everyone's gonna do. They're just gonna end up paying $9.99 like before, which is good. I'm looking forward to see what it does, for the shows. Let's see. So let's talk about NXT tonight. Let's see. The show kicked off with Johnny Gargano and Dexter Lumis. It was a pretty good match. Here's one thing I've come to a realization. Okay, see, Bobby should have been booked like this the second he came back. I agree, CM. I think he really should have been booked like a beast, because the guy looks like a beast. And what do? You have him come out with a headband for some reason. You book him with oh god, what's that fucking guy's name? Guy who used to be in NXT, now he's in MLW. Leo Rush, there you go. Yeah, Leo Rush was good as the hype man, but it's just I want to see Bobby Lashley as a badass. But I mean, it's good. I don't have a problem with Bobby Lashley having a hype man or a mouthpiece, but he didn't really look like a beast. Now that you put MVP with him, he looks like a fucking beast. So, anyways, NXT tonight, I've come to a realization that they need to turn Johnny Gargano back to a face, and they need to make Dexter Lumis a heel. Because, okay, so basically the point of this match was on NXT Vengeance Day, Dexter Lumis kidnaps Austin Theory. And then Austin Theory came back last week. So how they booked this match was Austin Theory has Stockholm Syndrome. So the whole time he's looking at Dexter Lumis, he's smiling, saying, "Hey, what's up, man? How you doing?" Like, "Hey, we're good. We're buddies." And Indy Hartwell is, I guess, kind of crushing on him, which that was interesting. I don't really get the point of that. So, yeah. Well, also, I'm looking at their characters, because the way I think is actually kind of funny. It's funny in that kind of goofy, kind of douchey way. A lot of their shit's funny. I just think it's pretty funny, in my opinion. But a guy like Loomis should be a heel. Kidnapping people does not make you a face. I don't know. That's just me. But they go out there and had a pretty good match. And Austin Theory, while the ref's not looking, Johnny Gargano tells Theory to grab the chair and hit him with it. And Loomis stares at him, and Theory's like, "We're good. No, I wasn't going to hit you. I'm fine." And then, whatchamacallit? Gargano runs out Loomis. Loomis gets out of the way. He ends up hitting Theory while Theory still has a chair in his hand. And then Loomis puts him in the Anaconda Vice. and Gargano passes out. Theory wins the match. Austin Theory is hilarious as a himbo. No, I haven't heard that. I haven't heard that term before. CM. That's actually pretty funny. I like him in this role because one thing I've always said about Austin Theory is that the guy looks like $1 million. He has a personality. He can talk, but they don't seem that they know what to do with him. And this role has been good for him because the role he's playing on TV seems like how he is in real life because he just looks like a big goof. Like he looks like a big dumb jock. And the role fits him, and I'm glad he's got the role. His role is as the big dumb meathead is good for him. I'm glad he's getting more TV time. And I like this role for him. I like that he's on TV. So and he actually makes me laugh. I like his facials. I like his facials when he just smiles like a little kid. To me, I like the way. I don't know how anyone else feels about the way, but I like the way. But I agree with you, CM. Loomis needs to beat the fucking shit out of Gargano. Like, Loomis should not be having a competitive match against Gargano. You know, they need to book him the same way they're booking Kross, in my opinion. But, let's see. Next match, you have Zoe Stark versus Io Shirai. Zoe Stark debuted last week. And William Regal told her she's going to be competing against Io Shirai tonight. Non-title. Again, I like what I'm seeing from the Stark girl. I've never seen her before. I don't know a lot about her. I don't know if anyone else does. If anyone knows anything about her, fill me in. But I like what I'm seeing from her. You know, she has potential to be something. I don't know what that something is, but it's something. My only critique is to maybe get better attire. But that's about it. Other than that, she's got a future ahead of her. She had a good match with Io. I don't know if you should have made this competitive because it kind of maybe not so much diminishes the champion, but it kind of makes it feel like, oh, so anyone can just wrestle the champion. Like the whole taking her to the limit and giving her a fight, I'm fine with, but making it a 2-segment match, I don't know about that. That's just my opinion. You're welcome to disagree with that, but I like the match. I enjoyed it. Io won like she should have, and then Toni Storm comes out in the shortest fucking short shorts I've ever seen. Jesus Christ. Oof. I'm not gonna get too much into that because I don't want to get in trouble. But she comes out, talks a little bit of shit, tells Io Shirai, you keep avoiding me. You really, you want to wrestle me, but you can't because you're afraid. Blah blah blah. And then Io says, "I will fight you anytime, anywhere." And Toni Storm says, "Go to William Regal and make the match." It was announced during the show that, in 2 weeks, on March 10th, it will be, Io Shirai and Toni Storm for the Women's Championship, which I'm fine with. So I'm looking forward to. Because, like I was saying in the review show with Jeff, the Triple Threat Women's match, I wasn't too crazy about it. Mainly because I think it's maybe the length of the match. The match was only 12 minutes, which is weird. And Triple H, said, in the post show that originally they were supposed to be given more time, but they had to shave time off for whatever reason. So that's just me. But I'm glad, they're getting a rematch, and I'm glad it's just going to be these two. So let's see what these two can do. I'm pretty sure it'll be a great match. I have no doubt in my mind it'll be a great match. And let's see. You have Xia Li versus Katie Catanzaro in a squash match, which that's the way it should have been. I'm digging what they're doing with Xia Li. I like the character that they're giving her. It's pretty fucking cool. Love the entrance. And this match went the way it should have. It should not have been competitive. There's a point in the match where they're outside, and Katie Catanzaro has her leg on the steel steps, and Xia Li just goes, bah! And stomps on it. Kayfabe being, breaking her leg. And I loved it. I love what I saw from it. That's the way it should have been. Xia Li looks like a fucking beast. She has those thick-ass legs. Katie Catanzaro is a pretty girl, but she looks like she's 15 compared to Xia Li. So they had to stop the match because Katie Catanzaro couldn't continue. whatchamacallit? Kaden Carter goes out to try to confront what's her name in the chair. The guys aren't letting her. And while the referees are still holding Katie Catanzaro, which I thought was kind of funny that they're still holding her and not even covering her from Xia Li just kicks her right in the face. Which I wish there was more. I wish she would have done a lot more than just break her leg and kick her in the face. I wish it was a la Brock Lesnar just assaulting John Cena in the ring back at SummerSlam 2014. I wish it would have went that way. But I'm fine with the way it went. I just wish there was more. So she gets out of the ring. So, love that. Loved every minute of it. All right. And then Cameron... Oh, shit. Hold up. Come on. So, what else was I going to say? Cameron Grimes. So he's doing a bit where he's trying to pay, not really pay homage, but one up the $1 Million Man. You know, if anyone's ever seen that, you know, skit, the $1 Million Man would give out money to people, but then humiliate them. And there was an ever famous bit where he invites a little kid up on the stage to bounce a basketball 10 times. If you can bounce a basketball 10 times, he'll give him money. And then Ted DiBiase, right when he's about to reach 10, he kicks the basketball. So here's the thing. So Cameron Grimes was watching the video, but he didn't watch the end. All he saw was that he made him dribble the basketball. And he's like, oh, I like Ted DiBiase just humiliating people for money. So he goes up to a random guy in the back and says, if you can dribble this ball 10 times, I'll give you $1,000. And so he dribbles the ball 10 times. And the guy's like, you didn't watch the end of the video? He kicks the ball and he takes the money. And so the whole basis of tonight was Cameron Grimes walking around Orlando, even in the streets of Orlando, finding random people to dribble the ball 10 times so he can kick it. So he goes out to this random neighborhood. And there's a guy, there's two girls. So he goes to the girl and says, you know, dribble this ball and I'll give you $1,000. Not realizing that this girl is, I'm assuming, a basketball player because she's tall as shit. And I think it was Wade Barrett that said that she's a WNBA player. If anyone knew who that was, let me know, because I had no idea who that was. But she gets up and dribbles the ball, and as soon as she gets to, I think, 6 or 7, he's about to kick it, and then she starts dribbling between her legs behind her back and takes the money. So he's pissed off because he wants to prove to Ted DiBiase that he's so much better than him. So he goes up to another random guy and tells him to dribble the ball. He dribbles it once and then he punches him right in the face and just leaves $6,400, which he said was $6,400 on the street. Oh man, I don't know, guy. I don't know how you guys feel about the Cameron Grimes thing. I love it. I think it's genius. I think Cameron Grimes, like, there's a lot of people in wrestling that when they're given the over-the-top gimmick, it's either too much or it's very underwhelming. With him, his personality, because I never saw him in Impact as Trevor Lee, so I can't really go by what he was in Impact. All I know is that he's Cameron Grimes. All I know is going by his work now. And his personality is very over the top. Like, he's won points with me. His personality alone is bigger than his in-ring work. And his in-ring work is not that bad. But him as a character, he's going to do fine on the main roster. There's no doubt about that. This seems like a guy that Vince will love. Because he's a nut job. He's a goof. And he's a friggin' nut job. I love it. I love it. Oh man. So we get to the tag match, Grizzly Young Vets versus Killian Dane and Drake Maverick. I was kind of zoning out during this match. I am not too big a fan of either of these teams. Killian Dane, I like. Drake Maverick, I like his personality, but just him in the ring, he's better as a mouthpiece than him being in the ring. Overall, I was zoning out. I was watching this in AEW at the same time in both matches. So Grizzly Young Vets win the match. After the match, Killian Dane carries Drake Maverick to the back, and Imperium see him, and Imperium look at, or one of the guys in Imperium, I think it was Alexander Wolf, looks at Killian Dane and says, "You used to be dominant. You used to be something. What are you now?" So now we're getting to the main event, which is Santos Escobar versus Karrion Kross in a no DQ match. So the whole basis of the match was last week. The match was supposed to happen last week because Karrion Kross got in his car and went home. He pretty much pulled a cart and he says, "Screw you guys, I'm going home. I'm not wrestling tonight." And so William Regal makes it very clear: if you don't show up next week, I will not only suspend you, I will strip you of the Cruiserweight title. So he shows up this week. Karrion Kross, looking like he's going to make his entrance to the ring, is actually outside and starts beating the shit out of the other two guys. And then Escobar comes out and blindsides him. And for the majority of the match, Kross is getting his ass beat. Like, he's getting his ass beat, which was interesting because it's the first time you get to see Kross a little bit more vulnerable. Because I've always said I wasn't too sure what Kross was supposed to be. If he was supposed to be supernatural or he's just supposed to be this big badass beast. But now I see that, yeah, he's a big badass, but he can still get his ass beat if he's trying to fight off like 3 or 4 guys at the same time. The best way I can describe it is if that were Brock Lesnar would have freaking owned all 3 of those guys in like 3 minutes. Or not even 3 minutes, because Brock Lesnar is Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar is the Incredible Hulk. Karrion Kross is, I would say, he's the Punisher. He's not super. He doesn't have enhanced abilities. He can't turn into a giant green rage monster. He's the Punisher. He's a badass and he can fight, but you put him against 3 guys at the same time, he's going to have trouble. But at the end of the day, the Punisher's going to come out on top. And that was the basis of the match, was that, Kross was getting his ass beat, but eventually he came out on top because Kross is Kross. You would have seen the same thing out of Steve Austin. You would have seen the same thing out of The Rock or Triple H. They would have gotten owned, throughout the whole match, but eventually they came out on top, and that's what happened. Kross ends up, taking out the other 2 and has this really fucking sweet ass table spot with Escobar. And ends up winning the match, of course, because Kross is going to win. To me, this is probably the best that Kross has looked since I've seen him. Not to say that Kross hasn't looked good at all, but I've always said that he's been very dominant in his wins, even in like big match situations, because he hasn't had this kind of match before. He hasn't had a match where he's had to wrestle 3 guys at once. Because he had the match against Keith, and he was wrestling with 1 arm, essentially. He had the match against, Priest, which was a good match, but it was very dominant. This was the best I've seen him look. He went out there and just owned the match. Escobar, hats off to him. This is probably the best I've seen him look. And Escobar, I throw him in that same category as a Lashley, in a sense where the title that he's carrying is really hurting him. Because you look at Escobar. Okay. Say that you have someone that, casually watches wrestling or has never watched wrestling before. Show them Escobar right next to Finn Balor and Johnny Gargano and explain to them what the rules are. It's like, okay, who's the good-looking pale dude? Oh, he's Finn Balor. He's the world champion. Okay, who's the skinny little guy with the beard? Oh, that's Johnny Gargano. He's the North American champion. He's essentially the second champion on the show. Okay. And who's the big, thick looking, muscular, Mexican guy who looks like he could beat the shit out of anyone? Oh, that's Escobar. He's the cruiserweight champion. He's essentially, basically kind of like the bottom of the barrel as far as champions go in the company. And it's like, okay. It's like when your cruiserweight champion looks a lot more physically imposing than your world champion. And I love Finn Balor. Again, you'll never catch me saying a bad word about Finn Balor. But you might want to get that cruiserweight title off Escobar and have him do something a little bit more important on the show, especially after this match. Get that title the fuck off them and put him in more meaningful feuds. Put him in the ring with Adam Cole. Put him in the ring with Kyle O'Reilly, Finn Balor. Have him in a program with Gargano. Like that needs to be Escobar's goal, especially after tonight, because that cruiserweight title is basically nothing. He's basically just carrying around that title. It means nothing to him, by the way. But yeah, Kross definitely moving on to definitely going to be in the title picture. As far as how that'll go, I don't know, but let's move on to the final segment with Adam Cole, Bede, coming out to explain his actions. He basically just comes out, and I thought it was kind of odd the way he was explaining it. Maybe there's a reason behind it, because Adam Cole usually doesn't make these kind of mistakes. But he comes out and says, I had a reason for what I was going to do, but after seeing that, I'm disgusted. I thought he was going to do the whole, I'm sorry I shouldn't have done it sooner, or I'm sorry I didn't do it harder, or blah, blah. So Roderick Strong comes out, tells him, I can't stop Kyle from attacking you. Finn Balor comes out and throws Roderick to the side and goes after Cole. Roderick tries to pull him off, and Finn pushes him off, and then Adam Cole super kicks him. Roderick Strong is up clotheslining Adam, and then they both have a moment where, he tells him, "You're my brother, I love you," blah, blah, blah. Adam Cole's crying. And then right when they're getting up, Adam Cole low blows him and then calls, Roderick stupid. Super kicks him. Rips the chain off of his neck and tells him, "You're dead to me." So essentially, the Undisputed Era is dead. Pretty much. I don't know what's going to happen when Bobby Fish comes back, but essentially it is dead. So what does this do for the world title picture? Because Kyle O'Reilly is supposed to be back in 4 to 6 weeks. He's, selling this injury. Because last week they said he had a seizure, but he confirmed that he didn't have a seizure. He was really selling the fact that he got his ass beat by Adam Cole. So, good. We don't see too many of those in wrestling. But I guess since, you're putting Adam Cole back into the title picture, and then, carrying Kross, wants his title back, and of course Kyle O'Reilly, the easiest way to do is make it a fatal 4-way. Make it a fatal 4-way at Mania. Finn, Kross, O'Reilly, and Cole. With Kross coming out on top. Or you have Cole win, and then you have Kross chase Cole for the summer. I think that'd be a better matchup personally. Adam Cole and Karrion Kross, especially since after tonight, Kross is a fucking babyface. Kross is a fucking babyface after tonight. There is really no ifs, ands, or buts about it. He is a babyface, in my opinion. That's just me. I don't know how you guys feel, but AEW tonight. You guys know how I feel about AEW. I did watch it, but I was kind of half watching it. Let's see. I'll make it very short. The show overall, to me, was not very good tonight. Partly because they were doing a lot of promoting for the, I guess, the show next week. And then their pay-per-view next Sunday. Was it Revolution? The barbed wire explodey things of matching matches. Oh, I need to charge my phone. Okay. Kyle says, I agree. I didn't watch NXT shows. AEW was Phil Con. Yeah, I mean, I'm not just saying that because I'm trying to bash AEW. It's just sometimes I watch AEW and I'll find some good spots about it. Overall, the show is not very good. I'll just get to, like, I guess, the bigger things that are happening tonight. John Moxley had a match with Brian Nemeth, who, if anyone doesn't know, is Dolph Ziggler's brother. Beats him and then gives a very long promo about his match with Omega, and saying that they're gonna bleed all over and blah blah blah. Cool, I guess. Let's see, was it the Young Bucks? The Young Bucks didn't wrestle tonight, right? Super cool if true. Anyways, there was a bit where the Young Bucks brought their parents in. And Jericho and MJF, who are going to be wrestling them for the titles at Revolution. I don't watch the product. I barely watch it, so I'm trying to, hopefully someone gives me some answers. But Jericho and MJF are in the back and talking shit. And they have their dad hostage in the back and trying to make it look like they beat him up. But in my opinion, they put blood on him, what it was supposed to be blood, but it looks so fucking tacky. It didn't look like blood. It looked like straight up ketchup. It was a mix of it was a cross between ketchup and barbecue sauce. Blood capsules, probably, but it looked horrible. Like, that was probably the worst. Like, again, you're not going to show him actually beating the guy down because the guy's not a wrestler. And if you're not a wrestler, if you're not trained to be a wrestler, one wrong kick can really do some damage. So I understand that they had to give you the impression of how they beat him up, but that looked fucking horrible. He looked fucking horrible. That was awful. I've been watching wrestling for 24 years. It'll be 24 years this year. And that was the worst fucking blood anything I've seen in wrestling. Like, I don't know if there were blood capsules. I don't know if maybe Kyle, it didn't even look like blood capsules. Honestly, it looked like they just painted it on him. It just looked so fucking awful. What is it with this company? It just looked awful. Plain and simple. It looked awful. That's the best way I'm going to put it. And then MJF and Chris get in their car and talk shit and then drive away. So there was that. One thing I was kind of pissed off about was they didn't have Thunder Rosa and Rio on the show tonight. That match is going to be on Sunday on the Bleacher Report. But in turn, they put Jake Hager and Brandon Cutler because people wanted to see that match. Let's see. Yeah, the Varsity Blondes, which is Brian Pillman Jr. and Griff Garrison versus the team of Ricky Starks and Brian Cage. I thought the match was okay. I didn't think it was that bad. There really wasn't anything I hated about it. There wasn't anything I hated about it or loved about it. It was just a match. It was a good match. What can I say? Brian Cage, went in with a powerbomb, and then Sting comes out, still snowing. Which, why is it still snowing in Sting's entrance? I mean, you wanted to debut him with the whole winter is coming, which that didn't make sense then. It still doesn't make sense now. I still don't get why it's snowing. But he comes out. Well, actually, they show a vignette where he's driving in a car, and he has a body bag, tied to the back of the car, and it's why did I blink on his name? Darby Allin. There you go. It's Darby Allin in the back. So they come back and they take out Brian Cage and Ricky Starks, setting up their match on Sunday. So I didn't think the segment was terrible. I just, can we get rid of the snow already? I don't know. The snow it's weird. It's still weird. And then it snows when he leaves. Oh. Let's see. What else of note happened on the show? I'll be honest. I was kind of half paying attention because I have NXT playing on my TV in my bedroom, and then I'll have AEW playing on my computer. So I was doing my best job to really pay attention to both shows, but just, I don't know. AEW just didn't really do it for me. Even Kyle. Kyle said he watched the show, but it was just kind of lacking. And it's not just me. A lot of AEW faithful were saying the same thing. AEW was not very good tonight. So didn't even bother with the main event. The main event was, who was it? The Archer guy, the Red Archer, and Phoenix. Who won that match? Where was Orange Cassidy? I don't know where Orange Cassidy was. I think he was being interviewed by Chris Van Fleet. Oh wait, that was Jason Solomon. My bad. If Jason Solomon hears this, I don't mean that as disrespect. I like Jason Solomon. He's a good dude. And it's funny because Orange Cassidy even retweeted the link for the show. He goes, I don't even remember being there. But probably all right, so let's get to the big news before we get into questions. The big news, the big news of AEW. The Big Show, who's going to be going by his real name, Paul White, has signed a long-term deal with AEW. Which, when I woke up to that, I didn't even think it was true, because you never heard any news or anything about Big Show leaving WWE, because you just assume Big Show was a lifer. A guy like Jericho leaving WWE was still stupid, even though he always said, I'm never going to work against Vince McMahon. I'll never work in another company in the United States against Vince McMahon. I think it goes 8, but whatever. Big Show just seemed like a lifer. He seemed like a guy who was going to be in the WWE for life, be a coach, be an ambassador. You never heard him give off that impression that he wanted to leave, and he leaves. His last appearance in the company was January on Legends Night, and he did a bit with Randy Orton, where Randy Orton choked him for some reason. I don't even remember that, but now he's in AEW. According to Tony Khan, he will just be he'll be commentating on AEW's other show, which was AEW Dark Revelation. Is that what it's called? He'll just be a commentator, and more than likely wrestling. My whole thoughts on it. Okay. Okay. That's my whole thoughts on Big Show going to AEW. Okay. I mean, is Big Show going to AEW really going to do anything? Probably not. What was Big Show when he was on WWE? Was he really doing anything? When was the last time Big Show was actually relevant? Probably the last time Big Show actually meant something was in 2003, 2004. After that, Big Show was just on the card. He was just a big guy on the card, and just constantly went back and forth with so many heel and face turns. Like, he's the king of heel and face turns. So, I mean, good for Big Show. Big Show and Floyd Mayweather. Okay, I'll agree with you there, Kyle. Yeah, that was the last time he was actually relevant. After that, didn't really do much. He didn't really mean it. He meant something to the company, obviously, but as far as to the public, he didn't really mean anything. So him going to AEW is surely a shocker, but is it really going to do anything? Maybe it'll pop a rating. Maybe it will. Maybe it won't. But I don't see what Big Show can do in AEW. I really don't. Like, who is it that he can work with that'll actually mean something? Like, who's a big guy there? Okay, Lance Archer. Maybe Lance Show. Maybe that could be something where he can elevate him. But then again, Lance Archer's been kind of, pushed to the bottom of the barrel. So I don't know about that. Maybe Wardlow. Maybe that's the best way you can push Wardlow. Have them go over Big Show. Other than that, what can Big Show do in AEW? I honestly don't know what he could do in AEW that will mean anything. So I really don't know. Personally, I don't care. That's just the best way I'm going to describe it. I really don't care that he's in AEW. Good for him. He wants to make that money. He wants to stay relevant. He wants to keep working. He wants to help elevate other guys. Good for him. But I really don't care. That's just me. All right, so let's get to questions. So let's do the questions on Twitter. Let's see. Come on. I should just put up my phone because it's taking a while with the. Okay. So, Dirk Dasserly on Twitter, shout out to Dirk. His question is Cesaro SmackDown or Raw Heavyweight Champion material? I would rather him be a SmackDown champion. He's better on SmackDown than he is on Raw because he has the tools to actually get over on SmackDown and be a champion. He's someone that they should really do something with, especially right now, especially after that performance in the Chamber. He looked like a fucking star. Give that supposed push that you're going to give to Big E and give it to Cesaro. Like, Cesaro needs to have a title shot at some point. And at an actual big event. Like, I don't want to see him get a title shot at Backlash. Like, have him be at SummerSlam. Like, push Cesaro in the summer. And have him go against Roman at SummerSlam. There you go. That's your match. That's your SmackDown Championship match. There you go. Next match, Jeff Lippman. Shout out to Jeff. Do you see Paul White being cast in the MCU or DCU? I can see the Executioner or Morg seem appropriate. Paul White. I mean, I can see Big Show. I can see Paul White in a superhero movie. Maybe not as a main villain, but as like a background character. So I don't know, but I mean, fun fact is, Big Show actually auditioned to play the Kingpin in the 2003 rendition of Daredevil. So, because what I read on IMDb was that they were actually looking for wrestlers to be Kingpin, but Michael Clark Duncan was so good in that role that they just had to give it to him. So, Big Show in a Marvel or DC movie, I wouldn't be opposed to it. I would not want to see him in a bigger role. That's just my opinion. The Clark Street Wrestling Podcast. Shout out to my boys. Will Miz keep the WWE title past Fastlane pay-per-view? Let's see. I'm going to say no. Because he's definitely going to keep it after next week. Because Drew's going to get involved. Because they want to put the title on the Miz because, say what you want about the Miz. Is he the best in the ring? No. But he has a good personality. He can talk. He's someone that the company can count on because he's not somebody that really gets injured a lot. He's not somebody that gets in trouble. He's somebody that the company can count. He's somebody that the company can say, hey, we need you in El Paso tomorrow because we're doing a live event. We need you to do an autograph signing at their Walmart. Can you be there? Absolutely. He's a company man. So him being the champion for the first pay-per-view of the Peacock era, I'm fine with. Will he keep it past Fastlane? I don't know. Because he's still doing his thing with what's his name? With Bad Bunny. And I doubt they're going to put Bad Bunny in a WWE Championship match. So, but personally, I would say take it off of him at Fastlane. But I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do. And I like that. I don't know. So, I had another question. Look it up. Let's see. And my computer has gone very slow. And Jeff Lippman had another question that I posted on the Facebook website, if the fucking thing was open up. He posted, which is your favorite pre-Diluvian culture and dynasty? What the fuck is pre-Diluvian? Well, I need to look that up because I've never heard that term. Pre-Diluvian meaning, what the hell does that mean? And period is a time period in Chronicle in the Bible between the fall of humans and Genesis flood narrative in the biblical cosmos. Jeff, I don't know what the fuck that means. So, Jeff, if you're listening, I don't know what that means, so I can't really answer the question. But I mean, that's all the questions I have on Twitter. Is there anyone here who wants to ask a question? Fire away. For the next 7 minutes, you guys are welcome to ask me any and all questions. I will just sit here and drink my water for the next 7 minutes. Nothing is off limits, guys. You can ask me whatever you want. Any topic, I will answer. How was the snow and cold temperatures in Texas where you live? The snow, I mean, as like I was saying in the beginning of the show, the snow, it was the first time I've actually seen snow, like actual snow here in San Antonio, because it snowed before, but it's like, it was snow, but not really snow, like, because it would snow, and then almost like maybe 2 hours later, the snow was already gone. This is the first time that we actually had snow, and it was freezing outside. Because I remember when it snowed, I went outside, just to see it because it was pretty cool. It was everywhere. It was all, it was covered in, the streets were covered in snow. Our house was covered, not our house, but front lawn was covered in snow. The backyard was covered in snow. Luckily, we had our animals inside, but it was fun. But even though I was out there with 2 hoodies, my beanie, my gloves, and I had a long sleeve underwear under my my hoodies, I was still freaking cold. I was like, yeah, I can't be out here. Fuck this. But it was pretty fun. I mean, not fun for the people that were without power and electricity and water. But luckily things are back to normal. I'm glad things are back to normal. Do you know anybody who lost power? My parents actually were without power for 2 days. They told me they were without electricity for 2 days. In their living room, they have a fireplace, but it's one of those battery powered fireplaces. So they slept in the living room, for those 2 days without electricity. A couple friends of mine, didn't have electricity or power. which I wouldn't know how to survive without electricity. That's just water. Okay, I mean, fuck it. I was gonna say I could maybe survive without water, but I don't think I can survive without any of that. Supposedly, if you live by a rescue station, then you won't lose any of that. That's what I heard, because we live by a fire station. So that's what my girl told me. So, but I'm glad things are back to normal. I'm glad everybody is, they have their power back. But it's weird because, I mean, not to rag on my own city, but it's just like this city does not know how to handle crisis. Because back in 2017, I don't know if you guys ever heard the story. There was that gas shortage, and this whole city was going to every single gas station and just buying up their gas. And there was barely anywhere I can go to get gas because the city, again, well, yeah, Kyle, you're right. We don't have the infrastructure because we're not used to this kind of temperature. But the point I'm trying to make is that this city doesn't know how to handle shit in general. With the gas shortage, and then when the pandemic happened, people buying up toilet paper, which that still doesn't make sense. Why people were like hoarding toilet paper for COVID, and that still didn't make sense. And now the winter, and people are still fucking going to stores and buying up shit. Because I went to HEB yesterday. I was trying to get eggs. There were no eggs in the dairy department. That whole section with eggs was empty as hell. Nothing. Zilch. So so hopefully, our mayor, governor, whatever you want to call it, can just find a better way to help us. Because what is it? Ted Cruz, he decided to go on a vacation to Cancun while winter was happening because his kid, they didn't have power. He wanted to get his kids out in the heat. It's like, yeah, your fucking state is suffering, dude. And while that's happening, what is it? Benno, who the fuck was that guy? Benno. Who's the guy that tried to run for president? Benno something. Beto. There you go. Thanks, Kyle. Like, he's actually out here helping people. Beto O'Rourke. Like, he's actually out there helping people. He's helping little old ladies. He's helping children. He's helping people actually get through this shit. He's actually calling people personally, hey, do you need help? I got your back. Let me help you out. The guy that didn't win, he's out there getting things done. So it was just frustrating. It was frustrating to see the guy who's supposed to be helping our state just have to take a vacation. Oh man. I forgot what I was going to say. No, that probably wasn't important. But anyways, guys, we're now reaching the 90-minute mark. That's kind of where I was hoping for tonight. Thank you for everybody that showed up. It was a nice little shindig we had here. Thank you, CM fucking Goof. Thank you, Kyle. Thank you, Maurice. Thank you, Cal. And Sasha Baron Corbin, if you're listening, thank you. I'll be back next week. Might even have a guest. I don't know who. If there's no guest, it'll just be me again, and we can do more of these Q&As. So, guys, send in your questions. You could send it on Twitter. You can send it on Facebook. You can send it on here. If you look on the text channels on questions, just leave your questions there. Nothing's off limits. It can be wrestling related. It can be movie related. It could be life related. It can be music, TV shows, what have you. I will answer them. But anyways, shout out to everybody. Shout out to Wrestling Soup. Shout out to Kevin Castle and Trez. Breaking the Apocalypse. Let's see, the Clark Street Wrestling Podcast. Definitely check them out. They're good. They're a good show. Good dudes. Check out WrestleBread with JD. Check out Wrestling Court. Demented and Unusual. Check out RJ. Check out Monty. Send your best well wishes to Monty, by the way. Shout out to Monty if you listen. Jeff Littman. Definitely check him out. And Ruben Prime. Let's see. Who else am I forgetting? Texas Podcast Massacre. Of course, check them out. And just False Count Radio, of course. Check out False Count Radio. With Andrew Carlick. He'll be interviewing Candice Michelle this Friday. So look for that to drop. And also for WrestleBread, she'll be celebrating, JD will be celebrating her 100th show. So look for that to drop. Congratulations on her big 100. Basically, shout out to everybody that has a podcast. So anyways, I'll be back here next week. And if I have a guest on, you guys will be the first one to know. And that's about it. Take care, guys. Appreciate you for showing up. And the show will be uploaded on Friday morning, as usual. But anyways, guys, have a good night and peace.